Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my AfterThought review of Siege of Lothal. Looks like trading's over. Now we go to war. Oh dear, that's sort of my first thoughts of this episode. And before I get started, it's like, I think I probably will do a afterthought review like this. Unfortunately, yes, no images, no animating of my OC or anything like that. I'm just gonna do this quote-unquote for fun and casually and everything, because, oh dear, there's just not enough time to do everything. But I do want to comment on this, because I do like this show, Star Wars Rebels, and parts of me are tempted to do reaction videos to this, but I really don't think I have the time to, and not to mention I'm not sure if that would be such a good idea or not, and I have a feeling it would not be a good idea to do that, so, oh dear. So I'm gonna just stick to my afterthought format. So on to the actual episode itself. It's like, this one definitely had a much more different feel than the entirety of last season. I almost want to say there was more death in this 144-minute episode than there was in the entire last season. Which is sort of true and sort of not true at the same time, but ooh, yeah, it's like this was definitely the Empire Strikes Back for this series. Because last season, the Rebels got to do whatever they wanted. The Empire didn't feel like any threat at all. It's like they literally, in the first movie, or 44-minute episode, whatever you want to call it, it's like they literally take their ship, board a Star Destroyer, and get someone off. And the Star Destroyer doesn't even fire one shot at them. It's like, that's crazy. You'd never be able to do that. That'd be like landing on an aircraft carrier and then expecting to get away scot-free. That's just absurd. You'd never be able to do that. And obviously, yeah, like, the Empire couldn't shoot, it's like, or anything. It's just like the Empire was like no threat. The Rebels could just run around and do whatever they wanted. But all that's changed. It's changed very violently and very quickly. Because the Empire's just fed up with this at this point. It's like, we don't want to do anything other than kill these rebels. It's like we're tired of playing around. We're gonna go and kill these rebels now. Yeah, and of course with Darth Vader being here, how could that not happen and everything? And I really liked the minister's performance and her scene. It's like, I'm doing everything I can. What more do you want me to do and everything? I can identify with that. It's like, I've done everything that I can think of. I honestly don't know what else to do. I've definitely been in that position an awful lot, let's just say that. So I identify with her and what she's going through. It's like, I'm doing my best here. Oh my gosh, and she knows that, like, Vader and or Tarkin is gonna, like, kill her if she doesn't do something. So that's what motivates her to, quote-unquote, not exactly join the rebels, but basically defect to them. And if you save my life, I will give you information. And she is hinting that there's something more going on here. It's not just, oh, they're using the fall as a big factory. It's like, no, that's not the real reason. There's something else here. There's a much more important reason or something. There's something else. That's interesting. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but definitely spoiler warnings, because I am definitely going to go weapons free throughout the course of this video. But anyway, oh no, when she was killed, oh, I kind of feel bad for her. It's like, oh, because she is, after all, just a politician. That was most unfortunate. And I will miss her. I actually kind of liked her character. It was kind of interesting. It's like, she was kind of fun and everything. But yeah, definitely fun is not the word that describes this series anymore. It's like, definitely, this is much more about, this is definitely a war now. It's like, the Empire is definitely a threat here. I was almost thinking when they went into Ezra's old house, I was like, wait, don't they in a way know that this is your hideout? Is this really a good idea to just hide here? And of course, they actually do find them this time. And when they do, they literally bust down the door and just shoot at everything in sight. My first thought was like, hey, what are you shooting at? There's no one there. And it's like, well, they've clearly decided we don't care if there are rebels or 5-year-olds on the other side of that door. We're going to shoot and kill everyone in that room. That's, I think, the only reason why they're doing that. So yeah, the Empire is not playing games anymore. They're not taking this anymore. It's like they're here to go get these rebels, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to do that. And of course, the fight with Darth Vader. That was incredible. But it was also, yeah, at the same time, it was also kind of like, I know that they obviously are not going to stand a chance against Darth Vader because A, he's Darth Vader, and B, there's obviously no way that they are going to defeat Vader. It's like, and oh dear. And of course, Vader is just going to simply wipe the floor with them, which he pretty much does. Oh, that scene with Ezra. Oh, that was kind of rough. Even though I saw the trailer and I knew this was going to happen, it's still kind of like, ugh, that's kind of rough a little bit. It's like Vader almost kills Ezra with his own lightsaber. Ouch. That's like pushing it closer and closer into his neck. Oh dear. Ouch. That was rough. Ooh. But unfortunately, everybody got to live, although slightly wounded, and it does make a case almost in a way for why they actually wear armor. I've always thought that sometimes I think, like, why does Kanan only wear like armor on one arm and not on the other, and it's like, and doesn't do him any good, you know? The answer is it sort of does and everything, and Sabine was shot by her own blasters in the head and the chest, and she managed to survive, so her armor actually does something, so that's good. Oh dear, this is definitely the party's over. It's like, now this is a war. It's like, you can't just walk around and do whatever you want now, rebels. You actually have a fight on your hands, and it's just a completely different tone now, which I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. It's just definitely the tone of this has changed. We'll have to see if this is going to be good or bad. I think ultimately it will be good, but I do have to say, I did sort of like this fun aspect that they were having in the last season, but that's clearly gone. So if you were a fan of that, don't expect that to come back. There's a few fun things here, but definitely this is no longer the series that we started with. This is a new series in a way. Because they almost have to be honest. It's like, you know what? We're fighting a war. We can't play games when you're fighting a war and everything. However, there are still a few fun things here, like appearance of Lando. Did I get it right? Again, I keep confusing him with Londo from Babylon 5. Anyway, Londo was fun. I do have to say, the biggest criticism I have of this episode is that there's a lot of things that make me go, wait, what? When Lando says, what, 2? That means you must have 6. Well, how were you able to figure that out, Mr. Smoothie? I know that Hera is not exactly the greatest gambler and probably isn't hiding her poker face very well, but really, what logic did you use to figure that out? But there's a lot of other things as well, like when, at the very end, when they're trying to, escape the tractor beam, it's like, I have no idea what they're doing up until they jump away, until I see Vader trapped in the tractor beam. It's like, what are you doing? Just hit the hyperdrive and get out of there! What are you doing? Yeah, and the other is that I know Darth Vader's a really great pilot, but how is he able to do that kind of damage so quickly to such a big ship? It's just, that doesn't make any sense to me. I could see him annihilating an enemy squadron, particularly because I'm going to assume that the squadron are inexperienced pilots and therefore pretty easy pickings to not only a veteran pilot, but a far superior pilot, and according to the canon, basically the best star pilot in the galaxy. It's like, you could throw several squadrons of these guys at Vader and they won't do anything to him, but wow, that ship just went down way too easily. It really did. I know it's not exactly a calamari cruiser or anything, but that fighter really did some serious damage to that thing, way more than it should have been able to. It's like, did you forget to put your shields on? Oh dear. Again, it's all, the party's over. Now the Empire gets to show what it really can do and everything. And I hope you weren't a fan of that carrier or that command ship, because it didn't last very long. It kind of reminds me how I sort of felt at the beginning of Atlantis: The Lost Empire with the cool submarine that they built and everything. It's a beautiful model and it's glorious looking and it's cool, and they destroy it within the first 30 minutes of the movie. So I hope you didn't get too attached to that submarine because it just got blown to smithereens. And it can almost feel the same way. It's like, well, look at our new home. It's beautiful and it's glorious. But unfortunately, it was destroyed in the very first episode. Oh dear. Oh dear. I mean, it was pretty cool to see, in a way, Vader doing that. Being able to do all these crazy things. Yeah, like that maneuver where he spins around and shoots the fire that's chasing him. Again, it's another one of these, what? Kind of moments. Now, the thing is, in real space physics, shall we say, such a maneuver is actually possible, but in the sort of the flight model that they've kind of established, it doesn't really make sense. That doesn't feel right. But, oh dear. But again, it does show what an awesome pilot that he is and everything, and that's cool. I mean, it's kind of sad that, yeah, we pretty much lost the squadron. It's like, again, I hope you weren't too attached to those guys, because now they're all dead. There's only like 2 out of like 12 of them. They're dead. Bummer. But oh well, that's what happens in war, unfortunately. Oh dear, but the rebels did literally live to fight another day and everything, so that was cool. But yeah, this episode was interesting, but definitely rough and kind of difficult. And another thing that kind of goes into the what kind of surprise category was Kanan and Ezra. That they really feel like their positions have been reversed. It's like, if you would show me the lines for these characters and you didn't tell me who these characters were, I would have said that Kanan's lines would have been Ezra's. That, you know, he would have been the same guy being doubtful and like, oh my gosh, he would have been the one saying, look at what we're up against. But no, this is Kanan saying these things. Like, Ezra's in the way the one being strong and determined, and Kanan is not exactly being weak here, but he's being like, oh my gosh, look at what we're up against. It's like, ugh, this isn't what I signed up for. It caught me off guard. That he, in a way, doesn't want to fight a real war. And of course, the answer for that is because he actually has fought a real war before. And as he says, you know, he's seen what the war does to not only the Jedi, but everyone. And of course, that is true, that war affects everyone, and it affects everyone in a very negative, bad way. I have a saying is that, you know, those who truly know war shall always know pain. So I could understand that, but it was surprising the first time that I saw this. I'm just like, whoa, what? Kanan? Really? I mean, that also does explain their behavior, their quote-unquote, in a way, non-violent, shall we say, behavior in Season 1, because they deliberately are not fighting a war. They want to stick it to the Empire and help out anyone that they can, but they're not trying to, you know, overthrow the Empire or stage a true rebellion against the Empire. That's never been their objective. So now that they're considering joining the rebels, that has obviously changed. Because the rebels don't just simply want to help refugees, they want to overthrow the Empire, which means they have to take direct military action against the Empire, which, you know, basically means they have to go fight a war against the Empire and everything. So that's not what Kanan wants to do. It's never what he's wanted to do. And again, it surprised me, but his reasoning is understandable, and it's actually pretty valid, and I can understand it, and I can definitely empathize with that. But yeah, their characters just were just surprising to me. It's like Ezra was being surprisingly strong here. It's like his own home was blown to smithereens, and he's like, oh, well, I guess I can't go home now. Which I guess shows his growth as a character, but at the same time kind of surprises me. I wouldn't have expected him to say that, but in a way I'm glad that he did and everything. Overall, this episode was okay. There were some times it felt confusing where it didn't flow, or it didn't seem to really work to me, or it's just like, what? And again, one more of these moments is at the end where Ahsoka and Darth Vader basically make contact with each other. After that, Ahsoka lies to them. What? Ahsoka, why did you lie to them? Why didn't you tell them that this was Darth Vader? And that's another thing. Why does no one seem to know who Darth Vader is? Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to assume that Darth Vader has this reputation that he has during the original trilogy that, oh, this is Darth Vader. I know this guy's big and scary. Okay, maybe they don't know that this is his starfighter or anything like that. But it seems like nobody, like when they see Darth Vader appear in the scene with the shuttle, it's like, shouldn't they be like, oh my gosh, it's Darth Vader? It seems like none of these characters know who Darth Vader is. That doesn't make any sense to me. I find that strange, to be honest. Oh, well, I mean, I guess it depends on, maybe no one does know who Darth Vader is. Maybe he's kept a low profile since we saw him last in the original, in the prequels or whatever. I don't know, but that just seems bizarre to me. Yeah, the thing with Ahsoka, I'm disappointed by that. I'm like, Ahsoka, why did you do that? Why didn't you tell them the truth? I don't understand why she did that. Why are you lying to them? It's just, wow, that doesn't inspire confidence in me, to be honest. And sort of a minor thing here. As much as I love Ahsoka and I love that her voice actress is back, it feels so weird to have her voice, which still sounds like a very teenager, young adult kind of voice, coming out of someone who's way older than the original Ahsoka from Clone Wars. It just doesn't feel or sound right. And but overall, though, this series was okay. I mean, again, it's simply taking a completely different tone, and it's no longer messing around, which I think will be okay, and in a way is good, because it was kind of difficult in last season where they're trying not to pretend that we're fighting a war here, that we're not pulling out guns and shooting and killing people, which, and honestly, to a point is kind of bad in itself. If you're gonna do something like to make a show about a war, you frankly should just treat it like it's a show about a war and not try to hide the fact that bad stuff happens in war and everything, you know? It's like there's unfortunately consequences to your actions. It's like, yeah, you could go stick it to the Empire, but it doesn't mean that the Empire is just gonna take it and be like, oh, that was just too bad for us. You know what? You do something bad to the Empire, they're gonna do something bad to someone else. Kind of reminds me of this line from Dragonheart where it's when you squeeze the nobility, it's the peasants that feel the pinch. Well, in this case, the Empire aren't exactly the nobility, they're the military, but even so, it's the same deal. You do something bad to the Empire, they're almost certainly going to do something very bad to someone else in retaliation. I think I'm rambling on this, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different show than the last season. And again, not quite certain if that's good or bad. It was surprising to me, but I think in the end, this is going to be okay. And it still does have a little bit of fun and all of those kind of things. I mean, there's still some fun, interesting character things going with the characters and everything. And it's like, I'm gonna go make a friend or something like that. I'm gonna go, and goes up to the stormtroopers like, hey, didn't I see you in basic? And then punches the stormtrooper and takes his helmet and his entire uniform as well. And Ezra says, oh, I'm actually kind of a little jealous. It's like, I only have the helmet. So there still is a little bit of fun here, and there's still some interesting character stuff. And I'm sure in the end this will be a good show and a good season. But one way or another, this is definitely a different show now. And it definitely started out with a bang. So I'm looking forward to seeing more and seeing where this season will take us. And let's hope that Ezra and the crew won't be slaughtered by Darth Vader. Oh no! No, I'm sure that won't happen. So that is the end of my Afterthought review of Siege of Lothal. This is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.